Greetings, this is Mr. Solomon with another edition of Minecraft EDU for Schools. This is our last week of school for the 2017-2018 school year. So we're doing a Minecraft project where students are asked to build a replica of a house. So these are some of the ISTE standards. They're going to produce creative artifacts. They're going to use a design process to figure out how to solve a problem and make a replica based on an image. And then they're going to express themselves creatively in Minecraft. So I gave students 4 pictures to choose from. So I printed these out, and then they were able to make a selection of which of these 4 houses they would like to try to create a replica of. We always go over the rules of Minecraft. Don't change any settings. Students know to sign in with their name and number. We talk about no weapons, no potions, no armor. When you're in creative mode, that goes back to number 5. So students have all learned to be responsible digital citizens. We also go over the basics of using Minecraft, so how to use the controls for the computer. So I'm going to keep this picture of the 4 houses up, and I can come back to that and refer to it. So I'm going to come back to my title screen. Let's start up Minecraft. I'm going to move this inside a little bit. Direct connect, join our server. I'm going to sign in as a teacher. And then I always like to teleport myself back to the beginning. So pressing M is the teacher menu. Checkerboard always brings me back to spawn. Pressing M again, I can increase the movement of my speed. And I always like to go to build mode just in case I need to make any adjustments to students. So let's take a look at the first couple houses. This took about 3 days. This is the front, which looks pretty good. So if I go back to our picture, you can see that it's this image right over here. And we talked about paying attention to details, so checking out the flowers and making sure the flower garden is accurate. They didn't quite finish the sides, but they did make the front look the way that the picture does, so that's good. These students like to work with water, so they built the house that has the water feature. If we come back and look at that image, that's the one down here. So that's pretty close if you look at it from the front. Students did a real nice job paying attention to all the details on these images. Now we have another type of house, so we've got all 3 so far. So that's this one. The roof looks a little more on a steeper of an angle as it is in the picture. But for the most part, that looks pretty close. So that house looks good. And then we have these over here. So this was the top left house that has fence and steps around it. Pretty close. They even added the details of the image on the walls, which is a placeholder. So that was a nice detail that they added in. And then if we look at this house, I think this is the front. So there's their replica, and this is what they're trying to create right over here. Pretty close. So that's groups 1 through 8. And I can even pop inside of some of these houses. The students finished early. Some added some decorations, some torches inside. So now we'll check out groups 9 through 17. And this one's close. They didn't quite finish, but they do have a nice detail of the flower pots in front of the house and the steps on the side. If we look at that, top left. Or actually bottom right. Sorry about that. As we keep cruising, you can look at some others. So these guys are almost done. They did a really nice job. All they're missing is the pressure plates down in front here. But if we look inside, you can even see they added some couches and some seating and some bookshelves. They even added some items floating around in there. So students that finished early got to add some more of the details that you can't see, which goes into inferring. So they're using inferences. We also talked about how do you fill in the sides if you can't see them. So students had to decide how they were going to complete the parts of the house that they could not see from the picture, which is a great thinking skill of using inferencing. And we have a house over here. They have this one almost finished. So that's a nice job. It looks like just like the what we started with. And then here they have some seating. Looks like a little library room. Here they added a kitchen table. Looks like a computer terminal. So they're adding some more details, which is part of the fun of this project, so they get to be more creative. So now let's check out the next group of students. This would be 17 to 24. I told students they could work in either groups of 1 or 2. Usually when you have a group of 3, 2 students wind up doing most of the work, and the third student tends to look for things to do or doesn't quite stay on task. So I was trying to keep students into pairs or singles. So here's another example of that house, and you can see how close that is to the original. We discussed what replica means. Students enjoy decorating the insides of these houses. Adding paintings, I see. There's the upstairs floor, adding some spider webs or cobwebs, I see. See if there's any more in this section. Nope, so you have one more house to check out. So then the last section is groups 25 to 32. This is a large workspace. This is part of the Minecraft library. World Library. So I've customized this so there's border blocks, and there are 32 different areas to work in, and they're all 50 by 50. So this one looks pretty close. They missed their steps on the side there, but it's still pretty close. And then we have the last house over here, and these guys finished and they started adding all of the sidewalks. So that one looks really close to the original too. So it was a good project. The student had a chance to pay attention to detail. I can kind of extend this next year if we want to learn about landmarks in different countries. We did some research with that earlier. I have some videos on that on YouTube as well. So this helps students learn how to pay attention to detail, infer on things that you can't see, and work together cooperatively. Thanks for listening.